Yeah, baby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first of many episodes of the DC live chat. Dan Canobbio, John Boy Boxing, here on a beautiful day in New York City, October 15th. It is Boxing Day. A lot of fights today to cover all over the globe. Already has been one fight today that went down over in Australia. Liam Paro getting a big win over Brock Jarvis. There's going to be another fight in Australia tonight. Devin Haney and Haney-Kambosos. Got fights in the UK, a doubleheader, probably the best women's doubleheader, the best women's card in the history of women's boxing. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, main event. Co-main event could be a main event on its own right. Michaela Mayer versus Aycia Baumgardner. Then we got Deontay Wilder, the return of the Bronze Bomber against Robert Helenius. I will be in attendance in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Me and producer Ronnie, his first fight ever. Throwing him into the deep end real fast. I'm excited, as you can tell. I'm shot out of a cannon. I've had a pumpkin cold brew. I've had my breakfast. Gonna maybe take a nap. Probably won't be able to. And then head over to Barclays. Yankees are on tonight at 7:30. MLB playoffs in full swing. Need the Yankees to get a win. I was at the game yesterday. They lost. That was a tough one. Need that bad. I'll be watching the game on my phone while at the Barclays Center. But today's all about boxing. That's why you guys tune in. Corey Rito, what is up, my friend? Going to be a great day of fights. Can't wait. I'm at the Wilder fight tonight. I'm outside. Yo, I'll see you there, Cozy Rito. I'll see you at the fight. Let's try to meet up. I want to I'm going to be set up outside a little bit, doing some interviews on the street. And then I'll head in, and I'll be walking around the arena before I settle in for a good fight card. Co-main event, too. Andre Durrell, the dog, versus Caleb Plant. Always fun to see Caleb Plant back in the ring, whether you like him, whether you hate him. I feel like a lot of people have strong opinions on Caleb Plant, coming off of a 343-day layoff, both Plant and Durrell, which seems to be the common course for boxers these days. Either you're fighting twice a year or you're fighting once a year. We'll see how rusty Caleb Plant is, but let's get into it right away. I don't want to keep you long. I want to get into the picks. I want to get into predictions. And I guess we'll go in order of how the day will unfold. And let me try to share this on Twitter. I want to share this. We'll talk about how the day will unfold today. We'll start with the first fight of the day, and that is going to happen over in the UK. We'll start with Michaela Mayer and Aycia Baumgardner. They do not like each other. Have you caught the build-up for this fight? A fight that has been delayed because of the passing of the Queen, which gave them another month to bicker, another month to go at each other, another month for us to tune in. This is a real rivalry. We've seen this in boxing a lot, right? Cooked up rivalries. And we've seen these times where, the fake press conference fisticuffs or these pre-fight interviews that the fighters do together, and they just try to generate a beef that's not there because fans think that's necessary. That's not the case with Michaela Mayer and Aycia Baumgardner. They hate each other. They despise each other. They are fighting over if the sky is blue or not. They're bickering. They're shoving each other. Michaela Mayer threw a kick yesterday. That's all great. Outside of the ring, help sell a fight. Two women that are great. They're champions. They give great interviews, and that's awesome to sell a fight. But the fight's going to be amazing inside of the ring. Michaela Mayer is one of the best women boxers we got in the game today. That fight with Hamadou showed me that she can bang. She can stand in the pocket. She's long. She can jab. She's very active, and she is very accurate. Olympic pedigree. She should win this fight. But the thing with Aycia Baumgardner is she hits very hard. She is a power puncher in the women's boxing, which you don't see every day. That knockout over Terry Harper was frightening. It was amazing. One-punch knockout power. Doesn't throw a lot of punches, Aycia Baumgardner. So you got one fighter in Mayer who throws a ton of punches, active, versus one in Baumgardner who looks for one shot and tries to end the fight. Those make for fun fights. The odds right now on DraftKings for this fight, Baumgardner is a plus 220 underdog. I don't know if I'm really going to touch this fight. I think Mayer is going to win. I think there'll be some rough times early for Mayer with Baumgardner landing a few shots. But I think Mayer's going to win a decision. The over-under is set at 8.5 rounds. Under plus 450. Don't think there's going to be any knockdowns. Or if there is a knockdown, I don't think it's the end of the knockout. There'll maybe be a knockdown because there's just going to be frenetic energy in the ring. But I expect this one to go to the decision. You can get Mayer for a decision at minus 190. Decent value there. Draw plus 1,200. Always keep an eye on the draw in women's boxing with 10 rounds and 2-minute rounds. It's hard to distinguish yourself in those. Mayer by knockout. If you believe in Baumgardner by knockout. If you really believe in Baumgardner's knockout power, plus 600. That could be something to keep an eye on this fight. Love this one over. It's the co-main event at the Barclays Center. Aycia Baumgardner and Michaela Mayer. I mean, this is the one that I think a lot of fans are looking forward to the most. It's leading our poll right now. 75% of you think that Mayer-Baumgardner is going to be the fight of the day, the fight of the night, however you want to phrase this. A lot of fights today. I think so too, just from a stylistic, as I just said, and the animosity and the fact that they had to wait another month to get back into the ring after the postponement. Shout out to Top Rank, shout out to Boxer, shout out to the women first, of course. These four women, Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, Aycia Baumgardner, Michaela Mayer, deserve all the props. They are selling the heck out of this card. And a postponement on top of it. It's been just announced that the O2 will be sold out. It's going to be rocking in there. Sold-out arena. Who would have thought? 2 sold-out arenas this year for women's boxing main events. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano sold out the Garden. I was there. It was amazing. One of the best fight atmospheres I've ever been a part of. It's going to be just as loud tonight at O2 or this afternoon, wherever you're watching, for this main event or this co-main event and main event. That is hats off to women's boxing is having a revolution this year. Just this morning, Sky Nicholson, friend of the show, picked up a KO win. And she's on the rise. She is going to be a superstar in women's boxing. And you got Serrano and Taylor should fight again. You got Sinisa Estrada, who just now went over to Top Rank, who wants big fights. There's a ton of big fights in women's boxing, but Mayer-Baumgardner, I like Mayer to win a decision in this one. Not a lot of value there. I would avoid that one. Let's go over to Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. So much drama, so much build-up, so much history between these two. Of course, go all the way back to 2012 when Savannah Marshall lost a decision in the 2012 Olympic trials. Teenager, 17 years old, lost to Savannah Marshall. Only time Claressa Shields has ever lost in a boxing ring. She lost in the MMA cage just this year. That doesn't count in boxing. She has been dominant. How dominant has Claressa Shields been in her pro boxing career? 101 rounds fought, and she has outlanded her opponents in 99 of them. 99, 1-1 is Claressa Shields in her career. The only woman to outland her is Hannah Gabriels. That came way back when. And Gabriels actually knocked down Shields. I think with Shields, though, doesn't have knockdown power. Only one knockdown in her career. Savannah Marshall on the other side, 8 consecutive stoppages. She's tall. She throws a ton of punches. She throws 60 punches a round, which is equivalent to 90 in 3-minute rounds. Throws the most jabs of any woman boxer today. Second in landed. Very high accuracy. Savannah Marshall. Yes, she has not fought the same level of opposition that Shields has, but she has dynamite in her hands. That's what makes this fight so damn intriguing, is that Shields has never faced anyone with the punching power of Marshall, and Marshall has never faced anyone with the boxing skills of Claressa Shields. Throwing the fact that it's for all the belts in that weight class. Throwing the fact that they don't like each other either. Throwing the fact that the Olympic stuff or the Olympic trials and that whole storyline, electric. I'm getting so pumped. And the best part about it is it's only a few hours away here on the East Coast. That's what I love about UK boxing. That's what I love about these all-day boxing marathons that we get every once in a while. Yeah, it sucks if you have a life, if you have a significant other, if you have a family, if you have any other plans. But if you don't, and you can lock in, and you can sit down and watch boxing starting at 3 in the afternoon, all the way up until after midnight. Throw in some playoff baseball, throw in some college football. I think Alabama's playing Tennessee today. October's the best month. I mean, the weather is beautiful. Sports are in full swing. Every sport is going to be in action. NBA starts next week. But for these marathons and boxing, this is awesome. This is everything you want. An intriguing doubleheader in the afternoon and interesting stuff in the night portion. But let's get to the odds here. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall. I actually gave you my same game parlay on the podcast with Chris Algieri, Inside Boxing Live. I actually picked Savannah Marshall by decision. I know it's a long shot, but when you make parlays, you want to make those types of picks, big odds, good value. And Savannah Marshall by decision is plus 300. If she can find a way to make it close, if she can find a way to visibly hurt Shields at some point, she can find a way to get it in her favor. 10 rounds, home cooking. Would you be shocked if Marshall was given a decision if it was close? But the judging we've seen lately, only going to win 6 rounds. Only has to win 6 rounds. Doesn't have to be 6 demonstrative rounds. Got to find 2 judges to give you 6 rounds. I think you'd be done, and you can get that for plus 300. Savannah Marshall by KO, which a lot of people think is going to happen. I don't see it happening. I don't see Marshall knocking out Shields. That would be shocking. That would be jump out of your seat type of stuff. But there are people telling me all week long, all month long in the build-up to this fight that Marshall will knock out Shields. You get that for plus 300. It's pretty good value. Shields by decision is also plus money. It's only plus 105. But it's still plus money. And that's what I honestly think will probably happen is Shields is just such a better boxer. Has been in there with better opposition, has been, in pressure fights. Like those MMA fights, totally different sport, but pressure. A lot of people tuned into those fights on ESPN. And that's pressure. Yeah, she won one, she lost one, but that's a big stage. I don't think Marshall has been on a big stage like that. So I think Shields will win by decision. You can get that for plus 105 on DraftKings. If you think Marshall... the judges could give Marshall something. There's some money there, and then obviously the KO plus 300. But I love this fight. I could see it being a rematch. I could see both these fights being a rematch if Mayer doesn't move up to 135, which he's talked about. Love that. That's the first card of the day over in the UK. You can watch it on ESPN Plus. I'll be on the CompuBox keys counting the punches for that before I head over to Brooklyn. Let's go over to Brooklyn, folks. The BK. Deontay Wilder is back. Deontay Wilder is back, and he's saying all the right things. He's saying, I want Usyk. I want Joshua. I want Andy Ruiz. I want the biggest fights possible. He's doing interviews everywhere. He's on the Breakfast Club. He's at New York Giants camp. He's everywhere. He's trying to sell this fight because it's on pay-per-view. Not going to go there. Don't care. Buy it. Don't buy it. Stream it. Don't stream it. Don't care. Deontay Wilder back in the limelight, back boxing, saying the right things is good for boxing. Love him, hate him. You got to tune in and watch his fights because they are electric. He lands a knockout punch and wipes out Helenius tonight, which I think will happen. Pounds his chest, says, I'm back. Says, I want Joshua. Says, I want Ruiz. I want Usyk. Supposedly Usyk will be in attendance tonight. Says all the right things. That's great for boxing. Get that heavyweight division moving. 37 years old, says he wants to fight for 3 more years. Was ready to retire. At which I don't like when fighters are even like hinting of retiring. But talk about sparring over like something like 3,000 rounds or something. He's clearly motivated. And it came down to that statue unveiling in Birmingham, Alabama, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where he's from, where he saw his statue. And it gave him the motivation to fight on. Whatever. Fighters need motivation. It's not a team sport. It's an individual sport. So if you need motivation somehow, he's got a lot of money. Doesn't have to fight again. Been a heavyweight champion. Probably will go into the Hall of Fame. Don't want to debate that right now. 10 title defenses. So for him to say, I want to keep fighting for 3 more years, he's going to make a lot of money if he gets these fights. and he can go on and win some of these fights. He could probably knock out Usyk if he can catch him. He has the capability to beat any heavyweight because of the power. Came in at 214 pounds on the scale, which was shocking because he was at 238 for the Fury fight. 214, 212 is where he spent majority of his heavyweight career, which is nuts because he's fighting these beasts. Luis Ortiz close to 260. Tyson Fury was 270 for that second fight. Was even like 260 as well for the first fight, and Wilder knocked him down twice. Helenius is no joke. Helenius is really good. The sparring partners kind of throw some casual fans off. Why? Sparring partner, now you're fighting him. But Chris Algieri said this week, it doesn't matter. Sparring is not like being in a real fight. Helenius is going to come to win today. He wants the paydays just like every other fighter. He beats Deontay Wilder, and yeah, Baumgardner, Mamacita. My man Choi Rodriguez in the chat. Helenius wins tonight. He punches his ticket for a huge fight. That's big time motivation for him. Not despite the fact 6'7", hits hard. Look what he did to Adam Konaki twice. But which Helenius is going to show up tonight? The guy who beat Konaki twice and looked amazing, or the guy that got pasted, knocked out by Gerald Washington, who is a journeyman heavyweight. We'll see. But if Wilder wins, I expect him to say all the right things after. I honestly expect Wilder to fight Ruiz first half of 2023. Andy Ruiz next. And then who knows? We've got to see how everything plays out. I don't want to see Wilder fight Fury again. Fury's fighting Chisora. Don't like that fight. Maybe he fight Fury. Maybe Wilder goes right into the Usyk fight. If Fury plays his whole games or does whatever, and Usyk is sitting there waiting, says he wants to fight in February, and Wilder could figure out a way. I don't really get into the whole BC, WBO, all that nonsense. If Wilder could figure a way to fight Usyk for a title, that could happen. Usyk's a free agent, both network and promotional free agent. He wants the biggest money, Usyk. It's very clear. He said that. I only want the biggest fights. So at least all these heavyweights are saying that they want the biggest fights possible. Love that. Always love a heavyweight. I'm going to be there in attendance tonight. I'm going to get a ton of content. Follow along John Boy Boxing on Instagram. Follow along on my social at Dan Canobbio. I'm going to post a ton of stuff tonight. I cannot wait to be in the Barclays Center tonight. Back among the people, back among the weed smoke. There's something to a Deontay Wilder, Brooklyn, Barclays fight night. They're different. I'm telling you, they're different. It's where he fought a lot of his fights as he, after he beat Stavern. He made a lot of defenses at Barclays. Beat Luis Ortiz at Barclays, knocked Spilka out of the ring, destroyed Dominic Breazeale. So it's going to be awesome atmosphere tonight. Then you got Caleb Plant and Darrell. But you want to let's get to the odds on Wilder Fury. Wilder Fury. See, Wilder Fury is just ingrained in my mind. I think it's ingrained in a lot of boxing fans because tonight when Wilder steps in the ring with Helenius, it will be the first time he's not stepping in the ring with Tyson Fury in over 3 years. So I'm glad that whole trilogy, that whole saga is behind us, and we can see Wilder in some fresh matchups. Helenius is a good start. Then give me bigger names, like give me Ruiz, give me Usyk, give me Joshua, those types of fights. But I like the over 4.5 rounds in this fight. I think Wilder's going to start slow. Hasn't been in the ring in a long time. Has these big fights on the horizon. Not going to come out wild because Helenius does have power, and Helenius is somewhat of a counterpuncher. I think this fight goes past 4.5 rounds, and there's some value there. 5.5 rounds. Over 5.5 rounds is minus 115. Not great value, but decent value. I think it goes over 5.5. I think Wilder gets a stoppage in like the 6th or 7th, gives away a few rounds early on because he's sitting there timing. I can see the first round where nothing happens. Whether Wilder has all that pent up tension, he's sitting there waiting. Helenius, not much of an aggressive fighter. Things get rolling, and maybe the 4th, 5th round, 6, 7, 8, Wilder starches Helenius. Whether it's a big knockout or whether it's a stoppage. Ref waves it off. Queso de la Monte, the man, the myth, the legend of the John Boy Boxing chat. Hope I didn't miss too much. Oh, man, you missed a few stuff. I like Wilder over. I'll keep you up to speed. I like Mayer by decision. I like Savannah Marshall by controversial decision. I think there's good value there. But that would be tonight. And then Darrell Plant at Barclays Center too. Like this fight. Great co-main event. You know, how often have we got pretty bad co-main events, pretty bad cards? Yeah, obviously Darrell passed it, you know, but still dangerous. Look what he did in his last fight. He knocked out Marcos Hernandez with that ridiculous uppercut from the moon. Has one punch knockout power. Has been one at 168 for a while. Has fought the biggest names. Caleb Plant is Caleb Plant. A guy that is a lightning rod for some reason, whether it was from the Canelo slap, whether it was from all the people, you know, that don't like his bravado, don't like his arrogance, that don't like his confidence. I like watching Caleb Plant fight. I think he brings a different type of style. I've never seen him fight at the Barclays. That's interesting. Casey Diamante, I like all those except the Marshall decision. How dare you, Dan? Yeah, I don't think she's gonna win a decision, Savannah Marshall. I don't, but there's some value there. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's a close fight and she's gifted a decision and there's a rematch. Would you be shocked by that? That's just what I'm taking from my parlay. But you know, if I had a gun to my head, I would take Shields by decision. But over to Plant and Durrell. Plant should win. I think we'll have a few rough patches early. Durrell can slug, but Plant with his superior jab, superior defense. He's got Breadman in his corner now. Don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Love Breadman, the boxing mind, but he's got a tough go of it as a trainer. Hasn't won a big fight in a while now. But you know, if Plant wins, he puts himself right back in the 168 picture, which is a little bit of a mess. 168 right now, right? You know, it's like Canelo and then everyone else angling for Canelo. Canelo says he has a hand injury, might not fight again until next September. So if Plant wins, Benavidez has nothing lined up in the future. Why is Plant and Benavidez not happening? If you're Caleb Plant, you should be pushing for this because you're not going to get another shot at Canelo. The biggest fight for Caleb Plant out there at the moment, should he win tonight, is Benavidez. You put that on Fox pay-per-view, put it on whatever, Showtime pay-per-view, should do good numbers. Benavidez obviously says, I want to fight Canelo. I want Plant. I'm not the one holding up these fights. Well, let's see how serious he is after tonight. Will he call out Plant or will he still say, hey, I want to fight Canelo? And you got David Morrell at 168. You got Charlo potentially moving up to 168. Charlo hasn't fought in like more than a year. The last time Jamal Charlo, was in a ring was June 2021. Rubs people the wrong way with his confidence. It comes off as arrogance. You know, the Canelo thing getting slapped didn't help. You know, him hugging Canelo after the fight, or you know, that when he said, "Hey, I'm doing pretty good in there" while they were fighting. I don't think he'll ever live that stuff down, but he's very talented. He still can have a really long, good career should he want. Should he want to? I mean, he made a lot of money in the Canelo fight. He made like 12, 13 million. That's insane. Good for him. But I like Plant in a decision tonight. Should be, you know, fiery. The buildup has been good. Great co-main event. That should get the fans going. That should get the crowd going. And then we get Wilder, Helenius in the main event, which I like Wilder by middle rounds stoppage. That leaves us with Haney-Kambosos. A fight that has not been promoted at all. I don't really blame Top Rank or ESPN or DeBella Entertainment for really pushing this fight too much because of how the first fight went down. The first fight was a steamroll, was a wipeout win for Devin Haney, to the point where it's like, I don't want to watch this again. Why would I want to watch Devin Haney fight Kambosos again? He dominated him with a jab and a jab only. Kambosos' game plan was heinous. His execution was awful. He fought in front of a stadium and just could not get past a jab. And it's not like Haney came out and did anything different. You knew what Haney was going to do in that fight. He's been doing it his whole career. Jab, 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 random power punch, occasional power punch, jab, move. And Kambosos couldn't find anything. And what really ticked me off the most is something I have never heard before in boxing. Kambosos said, the fact that I knew there was a rematch changed the way I fought the first fight. That's trash, man. People paid money to go to that fight. You were the man. Sold out an entire soccer arena in Australia. Tons of people tuned in for that first fight. There was a ridiculous buzz for Haney-Kambosos, the first fight. And it was a dud because Kambosos couldn't find a way to win. But you got to give credit to Haney. Haney took away everything from Kambosos, cut his offensive output in half. Kambosos is a fighter that throws a lot of punches, threw 61 punches a round versus Teofimo, landed 15. Against Haney, he was 8 of 35. So as bad as Kambosos was, that's how good Haney was with the jab and movement. Now, the storyline in this fight is, can Haney get the stoppage? Can Haney do something demonstrative? Can he make a statement? Much like Shakur Stevenson couldn't do against Conceição. Haney, you've heard the criticism. Pillow fists, boring, snooze fest. He could change a lot with a knockout tonight. I'd be pleasantly surprised if Haney can score a knockout over Kambosos. The thing with Haney, that you guys saw the weigh-in, it was a little troubling. It was a little troubling seeing how drawn out he was. His face was, this guy struggles to make 135 a lot. He did not look good on the scales. His face looked like a skeleton. Wasn't, they had that little fisticuffs. Wasn't really saying much. Kambosos wasn't saying much. These guys are probably really struggling to make 135. Maybe that plays a role in this fight. Maybe, we'll see. Maybe it'll be a little more competitive. I expect Kambosos to make it close. Not close, but I make it better fight. I expect him to find a way or, eat a couple jabs in order to get on the inside. I just want to see Haney in a little bit of a sticky situation, see how he handles it. I expect Kambosos to come out and fight better. Haney's going to win this fight. Haney's going to win this fight. Maybe stop him late. What are the odds here? Let's get the odds on Haney. Kambosos. Where are they? Love everyone in the chat. This is fun. Casey Diamante. Haney should stop him. And like everyone else, I'd be a bit disappointed if he doesn't. Leave it all at 135 and make a statement. Well, here's the thing, Casey Diamante, is a fight with Lomachenko is pretty much signed, sealed, delivered for Devin Haney at 135. So he has motivation to stay at 135 because if he goes up to 140, he'll probably take the Teofimo route where he fights a soft touch, maybe 2 soft touches, and then gets into a big fight. So you're talking like a year plus before he gets into a big money fight at 140. Or you can fight Lomachenko. It's right there. Make a lot of money because Lomachenko is one of the biggest names in boxing at 135. So I think Haney will win. I will be kind of shocked if he gets a stoppage. I just don't think he has it in him. Chris Algieri, my co-host, talks about temperament, talks about mentality when it comes to being a knockout guy. He thinks Shakur Stevenson doesn't have that killer instinct. And I've really haven't seen anything from Haney, about that killer instinct. Could be wrong. Would love to see Haney and Wilder score emphatic knockouts tonight. That would be great for the sport. It'd be great for Haney. And then we got a lot of momentum heading into a fight with Lomachenko. There's a lot of momentum on the side of Devin Haney. You talk about this. Boxing's all about momentum, in my opinion. So much inactivity in the sport, fighting twice a year, you name it. Haney just fought 4 months ago, has all the belts, has a lot of good press on his side, taking less money, flying to Australia twice, doing what a lot of fighters didn't want to do, especially with the amount he was making with Matchroom. Haney's got a lot of momentum. He wins tonight in KO fashion and then fights Lomachenko. This is how you build stars. Top Rank knows what they're doing. I expect Devin Haney to win this one. Haney is a massive favorite. Minus 1,000 right now. Over under set at 10.5. Under 10.5, which I'd be shocked, is plus 255. I'm not touching this fight. I'm not putting any money down on this one. Haney's too big of a favorite. The money to me is in the women's fights, and I think the over in the Wilder fight. That is what is going on today. All right, my friends, that was fun. DC live chat. I'm gonna try to do these more often. I'm just gonna try to do these, during the week at night. In addition to the podcast with Chris Algieri, which will be always on Thursdays. Going to start doing Monday shows with Chris. Quick ones, like 25 minutes every Monday. Topics, some of the biggest topics in boxing. Get you in and out in 25 minutes, in addition to the Thursday shows. But I really enjoyed this. Casey Diamante, I raised my mug to you. I will be at the Barclays tonight. Follow along, John Boy Boxing on Instagram. Follow my socials, Dan Canobbio on Instagram and Twitter. Producer Ronnie, a casual boxing fan who's never been to a fight before. is coming with me tonight. We're going to do a vlog. We're going to interview people on the streets. We're going to have a blast. Enjoy boxing today. It's going to be a good one. All day, all night. I got you covered. Thank you, everyone, for rolling with me. Let's get some music back on. Where is it? Ba with the ba, the bang, the bang. Welcome to the. I like that. Here we go. We'll go with this. Thank you, everyone, for rolling with me today. I'm gonna go walk around the streets of Queens and just pace back and forth to the fight start. Enjoy.